He's got something else coming for him. I'm keeping these things sharp on the fucking metal grade. It's going, with the sparks flying, baby. Next question.
Hello, I'm Cavassier the goddamn Newt. Blades and shades, baby. Tony Ferguson keeps it sharp. Ferguson comes into the media scrum for UFC 229, a man who had to deal with more than his fair share of frustrations. He came out on the other side, focused exclusively on what he can control and letting go of everything else.
What's up, f***ers? You miss me?
We see his new philosophy in action as he walks in and takes ownership of his space. While putting the media on notice, this will take place on his terms.
What's up, f***ers? You miss me?
Give us an idea what it feels like to be back on Fight Week again.
I'm just here because I have to be here.
You're not excited? I mean, this is a big opportunity, a big moment for you.
I'm just here because I have to be here.
Marshawn Lynch?
Yeah, somebody got it. That's cool.
Ferguson riffs on the Marshawn Lynch meme.
I'm just here so I won't get fined. Hey, I'm just here so I won't get fined. I'm just here so I won't get fined. Hey, I'm here so I won't get fined, boss. Hey, I'm just here so I won't get fined.
You don't get to this point without feeling like you have no control over how you're being portrayed by the media. Tony hasn't gone full Marshawn. We see his smirk and know he's trying to be playful, but he's also serious. He's letting them know just how antisocial things could become. Ferguson believes the MMA media get his story wrong, so he gives them a better narrative to consider.
Finally, come on, you guys. Check this out. It's been 5 months since my injury. Took a long time for me to be here. They took my belt. They took a bunch of zeros from my paycheck. How do you think I feel? It's all fun and games, right?
We see his exasperation.
That's cool. Finally, come on, you guys.
You guys finally get something. When he says 5 months to recover and it took a long time to get here, he's talking about two different things. The 5 months is about recovering from surgery. When he says it took a long time for me to get here, he's talking about his journey through the UFC. He had to go on the greatest win streak in the history of the lightweight division to get to this level of visibility, and he's still only the co-main event.
They took my belt. They took a bunch of zeros from my paycheck. How do you think I feel? It's all fun and games, right?
Yeah. How about being back this quick, man? I mean,
Ferguson gives the topics the media should be asking about, but instead it goes right over their heads.
People want to call me weird. They want to call me cringe. You want to use my shit and not give me credit? You guys. Straight up.
It bothers Tony that no matter what he does, the usual gaggle will call it weird or cringe.
Recovery and wellness is my shit. I know how to heal myself. I know how to eat right. I know how to diet right. I know what the fuck I'm doing, but you know what that picture I painted for y'all? Is that cringe or that fucking weird? But y'all keep fucking using my quotes and my stuff and you guys don't give me any credit? The fuck is that? I'm gonna turn this camera on you guys and say, where the fuck are you guys doing? Straight up. And I'm wasting my energy here right now where I should be training. Instead I have a bunch of these cameras all over me and I gotta answer you guys' questions, but I'm just here because I have to be. Feel me?
He feels betrayed. All the man has ever done is win, and no one's more exciting to watch than Tony Ferguson.
Tony, what do you like about this stylistic matchup against Anthony? He was pretty exciting because you feel like you're a guy who brings it every time.
He throws kicks off a cage, I throw Superman punches. It works. Come on, guys, your questions are fucking lame. Let's go.
This is contempt for the lack of imagination put into the questions.
Come on, guys, your questions are fucking lame. Let's go.
Do you have any questions for us?
No.
You have a question for us? Talk about cringe. Sheesh.
So I just speak for myself. I don't speak for any of you guys because y'all got problems. You guys are the ones pointing the fucking cameras. Like I said, flip that shit around. Ask yourself that question.
You see the pattern Ferguson develops. Question yourself. Tony isn't being evasive. He wants the usual gaggle to hold themselves to some kind of standard. Maybe a little pride in their craft. Ferguson is a study in contradictions. He communicates by stream of consciousness, punctuated with frequent non sequiturs.
I'm the fucking champ. You see this gold right here? I didn't lose my belt. They took it from me. But the one thing they didn't take is my smile. So after my surgery, I made it a conscious decision to not want anybody else's help that wouldn't want to help me. So yeah, I got a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. It's still there. It fucking weighs a lot. But during this whole entire process, I gained so much more. than you guys will ever imagine.
The gaggle goes right back to the lazy narrative that everything he does is either weird or cringe. So he gives him the most Tony Ferguson moment ever.
So when you post those videos, does anybody in your camp or in your close to you go, what are you doing? Because we all watch and we think, what is he doing? It seems so risky. It seems so wild what he's doing.
Why? Because nobody's doing it?
Probably.
I've been competing for 30 plus years. I've been cutting weight for almost 30 years. I get bored with my fucking workouts. Lifting weights was cool back in the day, man. I'm strong as fuck. You ask any of my guys, I'm losing weight and I'm getting stronger. That's snap into it. That's trademarked. That's dude. Consistency times effort equals fucking confidence. I'm up here in front of you as a new man, like a phoenix reborn. I'm on fire, guys. So anybody you fucking put in front of me, he's got to work harder than me. They better run faster than me. And they better fucking hit me in the right spots, because if they don't, they're going to piss me off. Hold on, I'm not done yet. Don't be rude. I'm the fucking champ up here.
This is the big issue. Tony expects the members of the media to know the sport well enough to recognize his level. Yet after Poirier beat Alvarez, Poirier was anointed #1 contender by the gaggle. So much so that Khabib's was running around talking Poirier next, not McGregor or Ferguson. And they said similar things about Gaethje before that.
You give me my respect. Because I give you guys your fucking respect. I told you guys weren't going to like me when I got to the spot. You guys remember me saying that, right? I'm no pushover, man. I don't expect to be a pushover. I work hard for my stuff. And even when I work hard for myself, it gets taken away, which is cool. It's all right. You can't take my smile.
They can't take your smile, and they can't avoid your non sequiturs. Like I said, Ferguson is focused on what he can control, and the rest he ignores. The UFC stole the belt from him, put him in the co-main when he deserved to be in the main event, and cost him life-changing money. But Tony understands he can't dictate to the UFC, so he's focused on what he can control.
It's all right. You can't take my smile.
His smile, which means his happiness, which means his family and the people who believe in him. Ultimately, it means preparation and performance in the octagon.
All my good deeds I don't post out there, because for doing a good deed, you don't post it out there for likes and retweets.
He's loose. His gestures are open and free. His whole body moves in harmony.
You got guys like John Jones taking a chip out of my bag and doing these things. You have a lot of these other fighters. Yeah, go ahead. Because they really do.
He may sound like a complaining jerk, but this is Tony Ferguson at complete peace with himself and in his place in the world.
I lost a really good friend of mine because he OD'd on some bullshit. So when you have different things in your life that happen like that, it kind of sets a different kind of pace in your head.
This is how open Tony feels. He can speak to the media about a personal tragedy in his life. And true to form, there's also a metaphoric lesson that Tony draws. He's telling the world that no matter what happens, Tony Ferguson isn't about to OD on any #1 bullshit.
This is a rat race, but I'm no rat. I'm a fucking turtle. Ninja turtle. So which one's your favorite? I like Michelangelo. Next question.
Well, that's what I see. When the UFC took Tony's belt, they took everything he had worked for and gave it to Khabib to prop him up for a pay-per-view with Conor.
In order for me to be happy with this stuff, I'm gonna keep winning, man. But if you stack up the victories, will that make you happy? I don't know. We'll keep on trying. We're gonna keep on doing what we're gonna do. We're gonna try to keep setting a positive image for these other dudes. But I'm already done with that. I already tried to do that, and you guys didn't like that. Y'all thought that was cringe or weird. So I say, f you. Cringe that.
Ferguson internalized it, rather than make himself weak by playing victim. Tony put the responsibility on himself to get it all back. The usual gaggle ignored truth in favor of turning Tony Ferguson into a caricature. He's not the best lightweight. He's nothing but weird and cringe. Tony took ownership of this too.
You've always been fun in the media. Now it's like you're angry at us. Are you angry at the UFC because of because of this title situation? I mean, what's the source of that chip?
There's no anger. Why? Because I'm just more stern?
Feels like anger.
Well, if you feel like it's anger, what do you think Anthony Pettis is going to feel inside that octagon? There's no anger. There's no chip. I don't like chips.
This is the only major stress gesture from Ferguson during the entire 20-minute scrum.
The only thing I put out there was what I want you guys to see was all the goofy shit. But all that hard stuff and all that stuff, that pain, suffering, all that crying, tears, that wasn't even in the process. Not once did I feel bad for myself in this whole entire time.
As soon as he finishes the statement, huge self-soothing gesture, squeezing the lips together, then a quick click. It's not that Tony never felt like feeling sorry for himself, he just never indulged it, which is exactly how Tony Ferguson took ownership of his life and his career, by contending with his frustrations. Ferguson looked ultra impressive against Anthony Pettis. It sounds like Dana White and company are finally coming around to the idea that Khabib versus Ferguson must be next, or they risk creating the impression that their lightweight champ needs to be protected from Tony Ferguson.
I mean, as a fight fan, you got to go with Tony. Tony had the belt, tweaked his knee, got stripped. This fight happens. Tony never lost the belt in a fight.
What do you think's next for Tony Ferguson? Let me know in the comment section below or over on the Twitters. If you want more episodes more often, remember to like and share every episode. Remember, this isn't supposed to be easy.